So Jason Silverstein, the speech title is Voices in My Head.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy. Jason will be talking about the voices in his head. This comedy speech is in preparation for his upcoming Sarasota Speaks event on Friday the 13th, which is this Friday. This Friday. And at Tuesdays in Sarasota, it's at 6:30?
6:30. Yeah.
6:30 to 8 this Friday the 13th at Tuesdays in Sarasota. Again, Voices in My Head by Jason Silverstein.
We all talk to ourselves. Some of us talk to ourselves inside our head, and some of us talk to ourselves out loud. Stop doing that, I see you there. I have a negative voice that says, you can't do that. I have a positive voice that says, you could do it. I have an optimistic voice that says, things will turn out fine. And I have a fearful voice that says, be afraid, your pants may fall down. And that's why I wear a belt. My negative voice is quite strong, because it's working out in the gym of my mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing bench presses, power cleans, deadlifts, as pictures of past bodybuilding champions all over the wall of inspirational quotes, motivational sayings, and I feed it a steady diet of negative thoughts. That thing is a beast. And one day it decided it wanted to knock out my positive and optimistic voices and kill my goal of speaking in front of large audiences and having thousands of people watch my videos. And it decided to have a tag team partner in this. It called up my fearful voice and said, hey, fearful, let's sit down for a cup of coffee in Jason's head. They had a cup of coffee, and my negative voice said, I am sick and tired of hearing Jason say, I have a goal of speaking in front of large audiences and have thousands of people watch my videos. Go to my YouTube channel, Jason Silverstein. Yeah. And my fearful voice said, yes, I agree. But I still think people should go to Jason's YouTube channel. There's great information there, and it's quite funny too. My negative voice said, yeah, that's right. But we need to have this fight. Together, we could defeat Jason's positive and optimistic voices. My negative voice wanted to know if this fight was viable. So it called up my promoter voice and said, hey, promoter voice, do you think this fight would be viable? And my promoter voice said, yes, absolutely. All the voices in Jason's head have been watching his videos, and they would love to see this fight. It could be pay-per-view, and we could make a lot of money on this. The fight was on. My optimistic and positive voices got the memo, and they were optimistic and positive about the outcome. They decided, though, it was time to get me into intense training for this fight. So they sent me to the School of Positivity. Has anyone ever heard of that school?
Yeah.
It's conveniently located in the middle of Florida with nothing around. And for those of you who know, it's near Toastmasters.
That's good.
This is where I went for intense training. Now, at the place, I'd asked to cue them for Rocky music, and I'll just do it on my own. So, dan, 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 that's my Rocky music. And there, at the School of Positivity, you have to check in your cell phones. There's no cell phone, there's no news, no newspapers, no news of any kind. And they have teachers there and counselors. The teachers and counselors got a meditation teacher, acupuncturist, a Buddhist monk, some guy who just looks really spiritual and says spiritual things. And sometimes they have special guest speakers that are spiritual and positive, such as Deepak Chopra and Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders. It's all positive all the time. And there's nothing to do there. The only thing you could do is read positive, inspirational books, audio books, do yoga, exercise, eat healthy food, and watch the coronavirus death toll count. Because there's a big screen there, and every time someone dies, then another number is added. After this severe training, my positive voices and optimistic voices felt they were ready for the fight. And they came into the ring, and my negative voice threw the first punch. Jason, you've been doing this for over 2 years now, and you're no closer to your goal than when you first started. When you first started, at least a few months later, you had spoke at a large networking event. But what have you done since? You haven't done anything since. And only you have like 20 subscribers to your YouTube channel, even though you keep on telling people over and over again. Nobody cares about your YouTube channel. Stop talking about it. And you went all the way to Tampa. You drove all the way to Tampa for an audition, and you didn't get in. And you had to take a day off and drive all the way to Tampa, and then you had to drive back. This is a complete waste of time. What are you doing? Why don't you just do something more useful, something that you can make money at, like maybe be a gigolo? My positive voice hit back. Jason's been doing this for over 2 years now, and yeah, maybe he's not any closer to his goal when he first started, but all he has to do is just get 1% better each speech. And as long as he gets 1% better each speech, he will eventually reach his goal. Maybe it might take longer than the 2 years, 3 years that you're expecting. Maybe it may take 4 or 5 years. But as long as he keeps on going, he will eventually reach his goal. And it's not a complete waste of time, because every speech that he does, every video that he does, he's working on his communication skills. And each time he does it, he has to say his thoughts and ideas in a coherent fashion. And practicing that over and over again is a good idea. Those were the 2 initial punches thrown. And if you want to see the end of this fight, who wins, come out on Friday the 13th, where I'm doing the full set. Thank you very much.